In the heart of Britain, a land without a king, a miracle appeared. In a London churchyard, a great stone stood, and plunged into it was a magnificent sword. Golden letters on the stone read, "Whoso pulleth out this sword of this stone is rightwise king born of all England." Many had tried, but all had failed. Far from the whispers of destiny lived a young boy named Arthur. He was a squire, which meant he spent his days polishing armor and caring for horses for his older brother, Sir Kay. Arthur was quick with a smile and kind to everyone, though he dreamed of adventures he felt he'd never have. On the edge of the woods near his home, Arthur found a small bird with a broken wing. Gently, he fashioned a tiny splint from a twig and a strip of cloth from his own tunic. From the shadows of the trees, a mysterious old man with a long white beard watched him, a knowing smile on his face. "A grand tournament in London," announced their father, Sir Ector. "The greatest knights in the land will be there. Kay, you shall compete." Kay puffed out his chest with pride. "And Arthur," Sir Ector continued, "you will be his squire. See to his every need." The journey to London was an adventure in itself. Arthur's eyes were wide as he saw the great city for the first time, a maze of towering buildings and bustling crowds. The air buzzed with excitement for the New Year's tournament that would bring the kingdom's best together. The morning of the tournament was a whirl of color and noise. Banners snapped in the wind, and the clang of steel on steel echoed from the practice yards. Arthur carefully helped Kay into his polished armor, piece by piece, his heart thumping with a mix of nerves and excitement for his brother. As they reached the tournament grounds, Sir Kay gasped in horror. "My sword! I've left it at the inn." He looked at his brother, his face pale with panic. "Arthur, you must fetch it for me. Hurry, or I shall be shamed." Arthur raced back to the inn, his feet flying over the cobblestones. But the doors were locked and barred. Everyone had gone to the tournament. "Kay needs a sword," Arthur panted, leaning against the locked door, his hope sinking. Desperate, Arthur wandered the empty streets. What could he do? Then, through an archway, he saw the quiet churchyard. He remembered the stories of a sword left in a stone there. Someone must have left it. "I'll just borrow it for Kay," he thought, his hope renewed. He approached the stone, his footsteps echoing in the silence. He now saw the golden letters etched into its base, but in his haste, he did not pause to read them. The sword was beautiful, its handle wrapped in fine leather. It looked strong and true. Reaching out with both hands, Arthur gripped the hilt. It felt warm to the touch, and a strange, gentle humming seemed to vibrate up his arms, as if the sword were alive and welcoming him. With a pull that felt no harder than drawing a flower from the soil, the sword slid free. A blinding, golden light erupted from the blade, casting long shadows across the churchyard. Arthur stumbled back, holding the legendary sword, his eyes wide with shock and wonder. Arthur ran back towards the tournament grounds, the incredible sword held tight in his hands. The blade still pulsed with a soft, golden light. He tried to hide it beneath his tunic, but the glow was undeniable, and the few people he passed stared in wonder. When Arthur presented the sword to his brother, Sir Kay's jaw dropped. He knew the sword from the stories whispered throughout the kingdom. He took it from Arthur, his hands trembling as he felt its ancient power. For a moment, Kay thought of claiming the glory for himself. He walked a few paces away, gripping the sword. He could see it now. Sir Kay, the king. But then he looked back at his brother's honest, trusting face, and the shameful thought vanished. Just then, their father, Sir Ector, arrived, wondering at the delay. Seeing the legendary sword in his son's hand, he asked, "Where did you get that?" Kay could not lie. "Father," he said quietly. Arthur pulled it from the stone. Sir Ector turned to his younger son. "Is this true?" Arthur nodded, confused by the fuss. Sir Ector's face grew solemn. "Arthur," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "I must tell you something. You are not my son by birth. You were given to me as a baby for safekeeping." Understanding dawned in Sir Ector's eyes. He looked from the legendary sword to the boy he had raised as his own. With tears welling, he knelt on the ground before Arthur. "My lord," he said, his voice trembling, "you are the true king." Sir Ector led them before the great lords and nobles overseeing the tournament. When he told them what had happened, they roared with laughter and scorn. "A squire? This boy a king? It is a trick," one powerful duke declared, his face red with anger. The archbishop, a man known for his wisdom, stepped forward and raised a hand for silence. "The stone has been the test for all. It shall be the test for the boy," he declared. "Let him place the sword back in the stone before all our eyes." Before the entire assembly, Arthur slid Excalibur back into the stone. It settled into the rock as if it were water. The powerful duke stepped forward, then another, and another. The strongest knights in the realm tried, their muscles straining, but none could move the sword an inch. Then the small squire stepped forward. The crowd fell silent. Arthur placed his hands on the hilt, and with a grace that silenced all doubters, he drew the sword free. He held it high, and the winter sun caught the blade, anointing him in a halo of light. From the crowd, the old man Arthur had helped in the woods appeared. As he walked forward, his stooped form straightened, and his simple robe swirled into the deep blue of a wizard's cloak. "He is no squire," announced Merlin the magician. "He is Arthur Pendragon, son of the late king, and the rightful heir to this throne." A gasp went through the crowd, followed by a moment of stunned silence. Then a single commoner shouted, "The king!" Another joined in, and another. The knights, seeing the miracle and hearing Merlin's words, knelt as one. The proud nobles, their doubts erased, had no choice but to bow before their new king. Arthur stood before them all, the boy who had been a squire just that morning. But as he held the sword in the stone, he looked every bit a king. A great cheer rose from all of London, a sound of hope for a broken land. "Long live the king! Long live King Arthur!"